Hello, I'm Dan Raver from Boardman School's Television Network. This is Superintendent's Corner. Today, I'm joined by Mr. Tim Saxton, our new superintendent.
Dan, glad to be here.
Okay, today, could you tell us a little bit about yourself since you're the new superintendent?
Sure. I think it's always important when you have a new leader to understand where that leader comes from and their background.
Exactly.
It helps them understand what shapes their decisions. I don't want to walk you through every stage of my life, but I'm a Boardman High School graduate.
Yeah, that's great.
Right after graduation, my first job with the Boardman schools was actually, I was a custodian for Glenwood Middle School. So I mopped the floors, painted the hallways. During that time, I went to Grove City College. Graduated Grove City College with a degree in mathematics, and I began my teaching career up in Cleveland at Bedford City Schools. I taught there for 8 years. I coached football, I coached track, I coached wrestling.
Wow.
After 8 years, and during that time, I married my beautiful wife, Gina. Our family was back in this area. She's from Western Pennsylvania. Obviously, I'm from Boardman. And in order to raise a family and be around our families, we wanted to come back to this area. So I applied for and received a teaching position at Canfield. I taught and we moved back in '96.
Wow.
Bought a home in Boardman because that's where I wanted my kids to go to school. Started teaching at Canfield in '96, taught math for 3 years, continued to coach. After 3 years at Canfield, I became assistant principal. I was assistant principal and continued to coach. Then in 2002, the principal's job here at Boardman High School came open, and I applied for that and received that position. So I was principal at Boardman High School, starting in the fall of 2002. Did that for 11 years.
Wow.
Around my 11th year, Mr. Lazzari started talking about transitioning in future leadership, and he said, if you're ever thinking about being a superintendent, you might want to take a position up in central office to learn how central office works and see a bigger picture of the district, which thought about and said, you know what, that's a good goal. I became director of operations then in 2013, which taught me the business side of schools, transportation, cafeteria, custodial, purchasing, and financing.
Okay.
It was a great time, and it was a great time because the stadium project had launched. So it's good timing, exciting time, and I learned the business side for 3 years. Then, obviously, Mr. Lazzari retired this summer, and I became superintendent here in August. And what I would say, the final piece that I'm especially proud of is that I'm a different administrator now than I was in 2002, and the difference was in 2002 my kids were very little and they just started kindergarten.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen my first child go through 13 years of school, K through 12 here at Boardman, and graduate last year, I think I'm a better administrator because I also can see things through the eyes of a parent.
Yeah,
and I've witnessed all the different stages that a child will go through from kindergarten all the way through graduation. And I still have two daughters that are twin daughters that are sophomores here at Boardman High School.
That's great.
It's a little bit about me, and then, like I said, that's important to understand. How I make decisions, because you'll hear the educator, the math guy, the coach, and the parent come out in some of my decisions.
Yeah, so you have experience in all areas, basically.
Absolutely. And just like a change in leadership, when I moved from director of operations into the superintendent, I call it the domino effect. So now we needed a director of operations.
Yeah.
We took a look who's on staff. We interviewed both inside and outside, and one person really stood out, and that was our previous director of special education. That was Mr. Jack Zoccolo. I had worked with him as high school principal and worked with him as director of operations. His passion for Boardman, his intelligence, his attention to detail, his organization, I knew he'd be a great director of operations. So we moved him into director of operations position.
That's fantastic.
That opened up the special ed position. We did the same thing, interviewed inside and outside, and one person really stood out, and that was, we stole the assistant principal here from Boardman High School, and that was Mr. Mark Zura. So he became a new coordinator of special services and special education for the district.
Wow.
Then that created an assistant principal opening here at Boardman High School. Same thing, we wanted to hit a home run with that person. We needed a passionate, enthusiastic person to step in for Mr. Zura, and we found one in Adam Lewis, and he came to us with previous teaching in the Warren City School District, and also had worked for the county as an instructional coordinator. So great background.
Yeah.
We also had two principal openings in our elementaries. We hired Billy Jo Johnson to be our new principal at Market Street, doing a fantastic job. She came with some teaching experience in different areas, different schools across the Youngstown area, but her last position, she was a principal over at Youngstown Community School.
That's great.
And finally, the last position we filled was the principal at Stadium Drive. And again, applied, had multiple applicants, but one person rose to the top, and that was Mr. Mike Socoli, who had previous experience as a teacher and as administrator at Austintown.
Okay, yeah, congratulations to all those who got new positions.
That's our leadership team. You know, we did have, obviously, every year we hired new staff members. The one thing I want to point out, we had about 10 new staff members hired this year, beyond the leadership team. Don't necessarily want to go through every single new hire, but the thing that I think is important, when people look at the Boardman schools, we put a heavy emphasis on all three, the academics, the athletics, and the arts.
Yes.
And many districts across our area, across the state, across the nation are cutting the arts program, but I can tell you, we have 10 new staff members. 4 of those are in the arts area. So Boardman continues to invest. We believe in that. We believe that's an important component to a child's development, a child's success as a graduate from here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I also see we have a new vision statement for the school.
Yes, you know, one of the things when I took over as a leader, you have to craft the vision of the district. Right by my office, we have a mission statement. It's 3 paragraphs long. I guarantee you, if I walked around to every employee and asked them what the mission statement was, they say, yeah, we have one, but they may get one phrase from it or one piece, or maybe get one catchword.
Yeah, just a little bit of it, not the entire thing.
It wasn't a working document. So we took components of that and we crafted it to one vision. And that vision really covers those 3 paragraphs, but it's something people can remember and can drive what they do every day here at Boardman High School and across all our buildings. And that vision is, together, we transform lives through academics, through athletics, and the arts.
Yes.
And what's important to us is there's 3 components in there. Together brings in that concept of collaboration. Yeah. Whether it's student to student, student to teacher, teacher to parent, administrator to community. The old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. We believe that's important. Nobody should work in isolation. There is power in collaboration, and that's not just educators.
Yeah.
The second one is transform. I love that word. It's a very powerful word. Not every student can take AP English and get a 5 on the AP English test.
Exactly.
But some students will come in as D students, and we can transform them to a B student. Or maybe somebody comes in as last chair in the violin section, and we can transform to maybe second or third chair.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of transformations taking place. So what we're doing, we're taking a kid from point A to point B, and the gap from point A to point B is the transformation. So we're transforming kids, and I think that's a powerful statement, and that's what we're focusing on here. And we do it through 3 special avenues: academics, athletics, and the arts. And so those 3 components together, transforming in the 3 areas, academics, athletics, and arts, really spell out what's driving us here at the Boardman schools.
Yeah. So it's all about the journey of becoming excellent through all of those areas.
Yeah, and all kinds of different avenues. So.
Okay. I also, the report card, if you could elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, hot topic across the state of Ohio. Yeah. And if you would have pulled out the Vindicator a couple weeks ago, you know, they had a couple page report on the report card, and I wanted to make sure that our community understood what that meant. There's a lot of information there. So one of the important things that we did an overview video, and if you go to our website on the front page, I recommend it takes about 10 minutes. Yeah. There's a video that really explains what the report card is and is not, and goes into some of the detailed analysis of what our grades are. But I just want to clear up a few things. There's about 15 grades reported in the Vindicator. There were only 6 grades assigned. For example, there's many grades that are subcomponent grades when you earn your grade in AP English.
Yeah.
Not all those reported on the report card. Your final grade is. There are 6 final grades on a report card. Unfortunately, we had 2 Fs, we had 3 Cs, and an A. But there were many subcomponent grades, and that was a little confusing, but the video clears that up. I will tell you this, we don't like Fs. As a parent, I don't like them. I know as a student, you don't like them. And I can tell you, last year, in those same grades, we had an A and a B. So we went from an A to an F, and we went from a B to an F. And I can tell you, as a former math teacher, if I had a student who got an A the first 9 weeks, and an F the second 9 weeks, I'm taking a very close and hard look at that student, because usually it's not intelligence or achievement, something happened there.
Yeah.
You know, I usually talk to our guidance counselor and administrator, is there an outside influence? And that's what we're doing. We're not making excuses. Something happened there. You don't go from an A and an F overnight. We have the same students.
Yeah.
We have the same teachers, so what changed? And so without going into a detailed analysis here on the show, we're taking a good look at that, because we need to figure out how that's being reported Because I can tell you, I walk these hallways and I go in these classrooms every day, and there is A-level instruction going on, A-level learning. Now we got to make sure that is reflected on our report card, because that's important to our community.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I know the Boardman community. I've been a Boardman parent, and obviously I'm a Boardman educator. The standard in the Boardman is an A. And we will work hard to make sure our report card has A's. Now, will that happen overnight? No, just
Probably
like
not.
the student who's a D student doesn't turn into an A student, but that's our goal. We will work to get the A's, because that's what the community of Boardman expects.
Yeah, as a student, I completely agree with that. I feel like as a student body, we do have an A in excellence. I think we just need to show it a little bit more.
Absolutely. The A that we got was in graduation rate. So the final outcome, I mean, our ultimate goal is to transform that student, to graduate them, and let them go on to the next phase of life, whatever that is. Yeah. Workforce, in armed services, 2-year college, 4-year college, whatever they want to pursue. We're doing that at an A level, so the final product is an A. Some of the other components, we need to look at data reporting and get that corrected so it matches that A standard. We didn't wait for the report card to come out and also implement programs.
Yeah.
We started last year. And we started with a K through 6 common curriculum in mathematics called Everyday Math. We're looking at literacy programs in which every kid is benchmarked, so we know what level they're at, so we can transform them to a higher level in reading. Those are two of the big things on the report card: your English language arts and your mathematics. And probably one of the most powerful things we did together with the community is we realigned grades 5 through 8. So now, let's just take our 5th grade teachers. In the past, all the 5th grade teachers at Center got together and worked together, and all the 5th grade teachers at Glenwood got together and worked together, and that's that collaboration, that's together. That's powerful, but it's even more powerful when we take all the 5th grade teachers, put them in one building, and let them talk as one large group. And that aligns your curriculum, that brings you more powerful ideas, diverse ideas, and you're going to see just a difference on our report card just because of that one action.
Yeah.
Now, we have many other actions with literacy in the mathematics curriculum, but that's a powerful piece that we believe in, and that goes back to that vision about together. We need to bring people together. So we are supporting it. The vision is not just a statement, we're living it.
Yeah, okay. Also, about the property exchange from the township and what that's all about.
Again, another hot news item, probably our most recent hot news item. We've been working in the background. We had a spring joint press release with the township to announce this concept had initiated. Both the township and the schools obviously serve the Boardman community. And I say we're both guided by the golden rule. And the golden rule is it takes gold to implement your programs and improvements, and it takes finances. And I think every district and every community is constrained by budgetary concerns. So how can we be creative? How can we not put the burden back onto our taxpayers, but do the improvements that we must do? Yeah. The township needs a new fire station. We have a bus garage. It's functional, but we're on McClurg Road. And if you've ever been on McClurg Road between 3 and 4 o'clock with 55 buses, people going to the Y and people going to the hospital, it's not good for the Boardman community. And eventually it's going to get to the point where it's not safe. So we need to get off McClurg Road, but we need a facility that matches what we have, but we don't necessarily have the gold, the finances to build that from scratch. So very creative. We have some property that's not being used. What we did is the township could use that property. They had some property that they acquired that wasn't being used that we could use. So that grew that concept of the property exchange. And so the money that we're spending is really just equity we have in land. So that worked for us and that worked for them. So basically, what is the property exchange? The township's going to get about 1.75 acres right next to Center Middle School at the corner, Center Intermediate School, at the corner of Stadium Drive and Market Street. And they'll be able to build a new fire station there.
That's fantastic.
And they'll be able to move off that property off of 224.
Yeah.
We're acquiring 4.5 acres behind Todd Avenue, behind the township, which is the old Clarence Smith property. It has a nice storage building with high bay doors, perfect for our buses, and then plenty of land to put a new parking area and an above ground fueling station. So as soon as we close on the details, we'll start the construction there. We'll be able to park our buses off behind the township, be able to access off of Todd Avenue, Washington Boulevard, a little bit on McClurg, but not to the level that we're using now. And the township can have a centrally located fire station upgraded to better serve the community. So it's a real win for both the township and the schools.
Yeah, that's great. It'll make traffic more accessible, and then it'll also increase, with the like the fire department.
Right.
So
It's like I said, it's a real win-win.
yeah. Okay. What about the levy renewal? How's that?
Well, it's funny. I just said win-win, but I'm actually, this levy renewal is also a win-win. In fact, we're calling it a win-win renewal. Schools, we're constantly on the bout with our renewals, and we understand that. But we're allowed to be creative now, and so that's why it goes a little bit beyond the nothing new, just renew. This is just a renewal, but we're allowed to make it even better. So how's it a win-win? What we have is a 1.8 mil and a 3.9 mil 3-year levy up for renewal.
Okay.
Together, those generate about $4.2 million for the Boardman schools. It's a chunk of money. Yeah.
It's good for everything.
One actually was first passed in 1984. Now, what's the irony there? In 1984, I was a senior at Boardman High School, and I remember helping pass that levy.
Yeah.
It's been renewed every 3 years since 1984. So. Pretty long-standing tradition. The other one was first passed in 2012, and that was the 3.9 mil. It's been renewed one time since then. What we're doing is taking a look. We can combine those two and make it into one renewal instead of having these off-cycle and being renewed. So we're going to take a 1.8 and we're going to take a 3.9 mil levy and put them together.
Okay.
Now, I'm a math teacher, so 1.8 and 3.9, if I add them up, is 5.7. But it's not 5.7. That's why it's hard. It's a little more than nothing new, just renew. By putting them together, it's actually a 5.5 because the way these renewals are crafted, they can only raise the amount of money they originally passed for.
Okay.
Because of property values changing over time, it's actually going to be a little less. It's 5.5. Now, for the taxpayer themselves, they won't really see a difference. Their tax rates will stay the same.
Okay.
But we can put these two together, and then we can extend it out 10 years. So it's not every 3 years, every 3 years, every 3 years. We can do a 10-year renewal. So now we go to a time span of 10 years, one item, instead of 2 items every 3 years.
Okay.
Potential cost savings to us, because it costs us money to put these on the ballot, could be over $100,000.
Yeah.
That's a win-win, right? The voters don't have to constantly go and renew. That's a win for them, but they still have their democratic process of deciding whether or not they want that renewal to be approved or not. It's a win for us because we can put $100,000 into our operating budget, which we can put then into programs, into technology for students instead of paying to put things on the ballot. It's a better use of our money. It's a real win-win, and I want to let the district, our community know that it's a win-win renewal. Yeah. And it's good for both them and it's good both for the district.
That's amazing, because that's saving a lot of money for everyone.
Yeah, it's a help. And we'll look in the future, we're going to look to do creative ideas that the state has changed some of the regulations, how you're going to do that. So we're going to take advantage of that. That's a new change. And we'll continue to take a look at those ideas to create other potential win-wins.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm excited to be here. Like I said, I was principal for 11 years. It's great to be back in Boardman High School. I love walking these halls. I love the students and love visiting the many staff members I have close relationships with.
Okay, it's definitely great to have you and to talk about all the things that are upcoming in the community.
Yeah, I look forward to coming back.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dan Raver from BSTN. Tune in next month. And remember, we transform lives through academics, athletics, and the arts. Hello, and welcome to our first Boardman Board of Education School Board Report for the 2015-2016 school year. I'm Dan Raver from Boardman Schools Television Network. I'm joined today by Ms. Victoria Davis, President of the Boardman Board of Education, who will highlight the September Board of Education meeting. Thank you for being with us today, Ms. Davis.
Thanks, Dan. It's good to be here.
Okay. The September 2016 regular Board of Education meeting took place at Stadium Drive Elementary School. Ms. Victoria Davis, President, called the meeting to order. Ms. Davis, were all board members present?
Almost. We had all but Ms. Poma. She was not present that night.
Okay. Moving on. Did any community members address the school board, Ms. Davis?
We did. We had two. We had a couple that addressed the board that spoke of concern of diversity in our teaching staff, and we had one mom to address the board regarding a few maintenance issues at the high school.
Okay, that's great. Ms. Davis, you went over the consent agenda. Would you highlight what was discussed?
We approved last month's meeting because obviously even though the school year stops in June, we continue on. We had a few resignations, a few transfers, a few leave of absences, that type of thing.
Okay. I see we have a certificated staff appointment.
We did. We had hired Becky Hoffman. She is replacing Tracy Morton, who is on parental leave, so we wish her
Okay.
good luck with as her family expands.
Good luck.
But she is going to be the speech pathologist, and it's going to work 4 days a week.
That's great. Ms. Davis, I see we have some on-staff supplemental appointments.
We do. We have several. Basically, we allow our senior teachers to be mentors for our new teachers. So that's what these appointments are for.
Okay. We also have a few off-staff supplementals. Would you share those with our viewers?
Absolutely. We had Danielle Bletzko is going to be our high school assistant volleyball coach.
Great.
Kyle O'Donnell is going to assist in our band and orchestra program. And Bill Sikora is going to be the Glenwood Junior High assistant football coach. So we welcome them all aboard.
That's fantastic. I see we have an approved list of certificated and classified substitutes, as is customary at the beginning of the year.
We do. It's something that we do every year. This list is never big enough, so we encourage anyone that's interested in being a substitute teacher to please come on board. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Let's go to Treasurer's Business with School Treasurer Mr. Greg Slemons.
Yep. Mr. Slemons had a few reports. It's basically pretty simple in the beginning of the year. We wait for this meeting to approve our annual appropriations. Through the summer, we work on temporary ones. That budget has now been set. We will have a workshop in October that we had discussed, and it'll be on October 29th. And he will go in more depth as far as the budget and where we are looking for as the year progresses.
Okay. Ms. Davis, would you tell us about the new Memorial Scholarship at BHS?
Yes, we are very proud to have approved the Janine Hodge Memorial Scholarship. Mrs. Hodge was a longtime Boardman staff member. She was a high school math teacher. Excellent. I did not have her, but I heard wonderful things. She is also the director of our drama guild, and I believe we have chosen the West Side Story play in her honor this year, and there'll be more information on that. But we are very, very pleased to accept this scholarship, and if anyone is interested in donating in her memory, we will have more information as the year progresses.
Okay, thank you. Did we have any donations at this meeting, Ms. Davis?
We did. We had one, and it was from on-demand drug testing. It was $200, and it's going towards the Yes Fest, which is taking place here at Boardman High School in 2 days. So we are excited for that, and we thank them for that donation.
Let's go to Superintendent's Business by Mr. Tim Saxton.
Very good. Yeah, Mr. Saxton had several items he brought to our attention. One was the contract for audiology assessments, which is something that we normally do. Our second item, which I'm very proud of, was the approval of our lacrosse team as a varsity sport. So we're very happy to bring those kids on, and we are anxious to see what they're going to do with the varsity and JV sport. However, this is for only for the board to pay for their transportation to away games. So the salary for the coaches, the equipment is still going to be on the shoulders of that booster club.
Okay, that's a great addition to the Boardman High School.
Our next item was the purchase of the property. And most people, I'm sure you've already heard in the news that we did do an exchange of property with the township. I said basically what this is the new fire station that is located on 224 is going to move across 224 and be at the corner of Market Street and Stadium Drive. In exchange, the school is going to move our bus garage to a property that is behind the police department that pulls all our buses and all that confusion off of McClurg Road and gives us, our bus drivers, a little bit more access to the township. Right now, we are going to receive a building, but the maintenance building for the buses is going to remain where it's at. We're going to do this in a two-phase project.
Okay.
The last item was an OSBA transportation agreement. It's basically for consulting services. It's in place. It's not something that we're currently going to use, but it's there if we need it.
Okay. All right, Ms. Davis, what board policies were approved?
We had several. Basically, these are regarding staff health and safety, a drug-free workplace, privacy records for the students, that type of thing. We usually have several throughout every meeting. This one just happened to be a big chunk just because it's the beginning of the
first year. Okay. Would you tell us about the reassignments for this school year, Ms. Davis?
We had several, basically due to the retirements at the end of the year and the realignment of the middle schools. We had to move some people around.
Okay. I see Mr. Saxton has approved a field trip.
Yep, just one, and it's for our Corral program. They are going to Pigeon Forge at Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and they're going to compete in a national choir competition. So
That's
we
great.
wish them luck.
Yeah, good luck. Here are some upcoming events to place on your calendar. Thursday, September 29th at 8 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. will be the Red Cross Blood Drive at the Boardman High School Gymnasium. On Friday, September 30th at 8 o'clock a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. will be Yes Fest at the high school. On Monday, October 3rd at 7 o'clock p.m., BHS Band Drum Night will be held at the gymnasium. On Saturday, October 8th at 7 o'clock p.m., BHS Homecoming will be held in the cafeteria. On Wednesday, October 19th at 7 o'clock p.m., the BHS Fall Pops Concert will be held at the Boardman Performing Arts Center. On Thursday, October 24th at 7 o'clock p.m., the Board of Education meeting will be held at Glenwood Junior High. On Friday, October 28th will be the end of the first grading period. On Saturday, October 29th at 7 o'clock p.m. will be the BHS Band in concert at BHS Gymnasium. So make sure to be there. Ms. Davis, what reports were discussed during the school board meeting?
We only had two. One was the legislative report with Ms. Poma, but because she was absent, Mr. Zetz presented her report, and then Mr. Saxton went into a little bit more depth on the district report card. An explanation was needed due to the misprint in the Vindicator.
Okay. Were there any final comments, Ms. Davis?
There were. I had two. We had to congratulate the National Merit finalists. Nick DiGiacomo was a finalist. Sebastian Heinonen and Simon Pastori were commended. We are very proud of those three students. And kudos to the staff and the school. Unfortunately, those are the type of events that do not get put in the report card.
But congratulations to them.
Absolutely. We're very, very proud of them and their parents. The other item I mentioned was the girls golf team broke a school record of a low score of 146. So we were very proud of that team. So congratulations to all of them.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today, Ms. Davis. You definitely won't want to miss all the exciting upcoming events. Check out our Boardman Schools website for further details. A reminder that our October Board of Education meeting will be held at Glenwood Junior High on Thursday, October 20th at 7 p.m. This is Dan Raver from BASTN. Let's keep striving for excellence.